Hadouken! All right, let me stop. You can do this, Eddie. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can do it. What's up? This is Hello World, my first YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Whether it's day or nighttime at your current location, thank you. My name is By Getroman, and this is Built by Getroman, and I am an aspiring software engineer. Now I know some of you may say, well, he is a software engineer, for those who know me. But for those that don't know me, or even for those that know me, don't really know me. There's a lot to my story. And there's a reason why I wanted to take the time and create this YouTube channel to pour out all of my experiences and all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through and currently still going through at this very moment. Full disclosure, I have a job interview in 2 weeks, and I'm preparing for that. There's a huge story behind that as to how I got to this point. 6.5 years in the making. I want to make this video, Hello World, which is my first video on YouTube, an introductory as to what this channel is going to be about in terms of the content. But before I get there, let's talk about how I got here. So, I am a career changer. I'm not your typical traditional computer science student. I actually worked for a couple startups back in Connecticut. And in those startups, I was afforded an opportunity to work on small web development projects. There was a company called Latinos in Higher Ed that I used to work for, and I was there for about 8 years. And at the latter parts of those years, I was able to get my hands on some web development projects working with the Adobe Suite, specifically Dreamweaver at the time, just basic HTML, CSS projects, and some Photoshop to change banner ads and mess with those technologies. And there's really when I fell in love with web development. Now, mind you, I did initially start with a computer science track degree back in a school called Catherine Gibbs, which is way before my time in Connecticut, and that's another story. But working with the startup, I was afforded an opportunity to work on these small web development projects that really interested me. And honestly, I fell in love and gained so much passion for this industry because the changes were so instantaneous. You could see the results right there, and this is nothing better than that. You had control. You can build things with this idea of code and syntax, and it was amazing. So I decided to transition out of that startup and found a company called Independent Software that ran an apprenticeship program called A100. Now, A100 was an elite software engineering apprenticeship program out of New Haven, Connecticut. They really focus on recruiting computer science students out of institutions like Yale, Southern Connecticut State University, Wesleyan, and others. And I was afforded the opportunity after taking the coding challenge to actually start at this program at a cohort located in Stanford, which was great. I was rubbing shoulders with other very smart people. And it was intimidating at first because I didn't know what to expect. We had guys and gals speaking terms I never heard before. So naturally, my imposter syndrome kicked in. And that's something I've been dealing with for a very long time. So fast forward, I actually graduated out of the A100 program. I left there with 2 big projects. One for a local entrepreneur that we would teamed up to build a full stack application using Meteor, JS, MongoDB, HTML, CSS. That was a great project. But also, we were able to leave there with personal projects. And I was teamed up with an amazing developer called Joe Pollock. And Joe, if you're watching this, thank you for watching. That was a great experience. And when I graduated out of the A100 program, I took that experience and decided, hey, you know what? I want to level up. I want to continue this path. So my wife and I, for many reasons, picked up and left to New York City. So when we got to New York City, I had to hustle and figure out exactly what is the next move. So I found myself looking at boot camps. Again, reminder, I was not a traditional computer science student. Everything I learned was online, was a free resource online, like free code camp, Code Academy. So I had to figure out, hey, what's the next best thing? And it was hot at the time. Coding boot camps was on fire at that time. We're talking about 3-4 years ago. So I entered a boot camp called Thinkful. I got in, I applied, went through the coding challenge, did the fizz buzz, got it, boom, I'm in. Great. Went through the program, rubbed shoulders with amazing people, amazing instructors. It was remote, so I had that luxury, but it wasn't easy. I had to figure it out. Again, naturally, because of my upbringing in the past 6 years as a non-traditional student, the imposter syndrome was kicking in again. But I overcame it at that very moment by finishing the program and developing small projects and one full stack application, which I'll link in the card above and the description below. It was called Highlander. Very proud of that project. And what that did for me was create confidence and gusto to move forward and take the next step. And that next step was naturally to find a job. So when I get into the job phase after this coding boot camp, the job descriptions that I read were very intimidating. And the people that I knew that were applying, in my mind, were 10 times smarter than I was. So again, this imposter syndrome kicked in again. And I find myself on a decline with applying for jobs as a software engineer. But I was able to bounce back from that in a way where I find myself going to meetups. One of the strategies that I learned was your network is your net worth. So I took that to heart. And at the time I wasn't working, so I was in between jobs, right? And while I was attending meetups, I bumped into this company called The Knowledge House. And mind you, at the same time, my son was already born. My wife was pregnant with my daughter Leah. So there was a lot of pressure on me to get these things done as quickly as possible and find a gig. So I was fortunate enough to find a startup based out of the South Bronx, New York City, called The Knowledge House, which their main goal was to and is to increase the tech scene in the South Bronx by providing underserved, underprivileged students with an opportunity to learn how to code, career tips, build on their soft skills and hard skills, and then ship them off to find work as software engineers. So I was afforded an opportunity to become a mentor there through volunteer work. Quickly after that, I find myself offered an opportunity to become a part-time instructor. Now this was great. I was elated because I told myself, if I can do this, I'll put myself in the position career-wise to excel, but also internally inside to gain more confidence and also test my skills and abilities to teach what I have already learned in the boot camps and everything prior to that. So I took the opportunity, find myself teaching high school students, young adults, and then was offered an opportunity to work as a full-time instructor not too long after that. And that was great as well, because then I had to level up as a full-time employee and work with a program called the Tech Talent Pipeline. And that was great. I was responsible for multiple cohorts, a multiple set of students, to get them from knowing nothing to knowing enough to pass a rigorous coding challenge at a premier bootcamp called Full Stack Academy. And it was very successful. So at that point, I was on the high. I'm like, yes, this is it. But things happen. I found myself in between jobs again. Good old Corona came around. Coronavirus. So I moved on from TKH, and now I'm here with you. I found myself given the opportunity to take the bull by the horn and really drive it home when it comes to trying to find my next gig and pursue and fulfill my dream as a software engineer. And this is why I'm here with Built by Getroman. How did I get here? Well, it's a culmination of the past 6.5 years. The trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, dealing with imposter syndrome, dealing with obstacles, and learning how to code. Because learning how to code is very difficult. It's hard. There's always something new coming out. Every couple months, every year or 2 years. It moves fast. So, what is Built by Getroman? But before I talk about that, what is Getroman? Long story short, you take the get and the Roman, you smash it together. You get Getroman. It's actually a longer story than that. And my son has to play a big part of that. But I'll talk about that another time. So, who is this channel for? Well, really it's for people like you. Aspiring code newbies like myself. Aspiring software engineers like myself. Who came from different backgrounds. From underserved populations. The South Bronx. Harlem. So on and so forth. Those are the neighborhoods I came from. I was never privy to any tech back in those days. It was just recently that I was afforded those opportunities, 6-7 years ago. So I wanted to make this channel for you. I want to increase acknowledgement, increase diversity and inclusion in tech. I want to see more African American, more Latinx, just more people in general for all walks of life to be in tech. I want them to see, and I want you to see my journey. I want you to see the struggles. I want you to see the pain as far as reaching that top of the mountain and securing that role as a software engineer. And if it's not a software engineer, fine. Could be a project manager. If you want to be a CEO, CTO, whatever. It's all the same process. And what I want to accomplish here is to increase my ability to communicate my technical chops, my technical skills to you in the form of the following: live coding challenges, live streaming, building full stack applications, providing you with self-help videos about the best tools in the industry, speaking on my coding interviews live as it happens. Well, not as it happens because obviously I can't bring a camera there, but you know what I mean. The pre-work for interviews, the post-mortem after the interviews, and just talk about what happened and what went good and what went bad. And hopefully that journey that I go through and the journey I've been through, you can take that as an experience and learn from it and build on top of it and do better than I did. Now for me, this channel is gonna help me increase my technical communication, my ability to code, and hopefully my presence in YouTube will increase. Because I wanna see more diversity, not only in tech, but on YouTube. I wanna be able to do a YouTube search and see somebody like me that grew up in the same neighborhoods as me, that talks like me, that went to the same struggles as me, career changers, non-traditionals, struggling, in between jobs, starting a family, moving 4 or 5 times, 7 years in the game, still haven't got a title of the software engineer that I've been striving for. Haven't seen that bag yet. Honestly, I want that. I want to be able to use this channel as a medium to help you learn publicly, help me learn and even teach publicly, because that's what I'll be doing, but also fail publicly, because that's what I'm going to be doing as well. There'll be awkward times where it'll be silent because I'm in thought, I'm in process mode, I'm trying to solve a coding challenge of some sort, and they're very hard. So get ready for that. And if that interests you, then you're in the right place. And that's why I think you should subscribe to this channel. So, Built by Getroman is gonna pretty much give you a bird's eye view of how I work. And that's it. Hopefully you learn from it. I know I'm gonna learn from it. Half the time I'm gonna be speaking to myself just because that's how it works. When you start a channel, you start with 0 and you build up organically. But let's do it together. Why not? I'll go live. You can join me. We can pair program. We can build projects. We can talk about anything and everything to do with tech. You having a problem? Let's talk about it. If it's not tech related and there's something surrounding tech that you're dealing with, let's talk about it. Only if you feel comfortable. So, what's next? I'll be working on some live coding challenges. I have a technical interview coming up in a few weeks, and I want to use YouTube as a platform to learn publicly and live code. And I'm hoping you can join me. I want to show you how gritty and hard it is to learn difficult topics, because it's not easy. Your algorithms, your data structures, your big O's, things that you need to know to secure your job as a software engineer. And I'm hoping you can join me in that journey. Shortly after that, I'll be working on full stack applications, web applications, both on the software side and also hardware projects using Raspberry Pis and Arduinos. That's all to come down the road, including self-help videos and some documentation on other things and process that I've created or have gone through past experiences that may or may not help you. I really want to hear from you. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about Built by Getroman so far. It's only been the first video, but let me know what you would like to learn. What would you like to see out of this channel? Because I'm listening to you. I want to learn from you, and I want you to learn from me as well. Hit the bell for notifications for any new content that may come out. And this is Built by Getroman, and never stop building. Peace. Oslo Central Station.